Hi, my name is Ellen Sawyer, and our group is Female Collective at NDSU.
And I'm Michaela.
I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Hannah.
So one of our favorite quotes that we posted on our Instagram was, "More than anything, a person's right to abortion is a person's right to their own body." I think Hannah was the one that found that quote and posted it, but I really like it, and I think it sums up our whole goal as a group pretty well. So as a group, our goal was to educate our peers and followers on what reproductive justice means and why it matters.
We chose this topic because nearly 1 in 4 women will have an abortion by the age of 45. Also, unsafe abortions are the third leading cause of maternal death, and advocating for women is important to us. Our rights and well-being are on the line daily.
So we did our activism through social media by creating an Instagram account and following people that allows you to share your information and be seen by many different people. And we also helped by escorting at the Red River Women's Clinic, because not only does it help women through the Red River Valley, but women throughout North Dakota.
So about North Dakota and these abortion clinic fast facts. The Red River Women's Clinic is the only abortion clinic in the state. For Minnesota, the next closest clinic is almost 200 miles away. And the Red River Women's Clinic sees about 20 to 25 women a week about abortion services.
So we created our Instagram account, and since creating it, we have been able to gain 95 followers and keep them engaged with weekly posts and informative stories. We were able to make 25 posts, 55 stories, and 10 interactive stories that our followers could interact with.
We had 4 project goals that we met. We created an Instagram account and gained a following. We also escorted as a group at the Red River Women's Clinic. We held a training Zoom meeting to recruit others, and we have continued to keep our followers by posting and engaging them in stories.
So some of our goals is that we wanted to escort as our small group to see what it entails to be better help to those we recruited. Since none of us had participated in an escorting event before this, we wanted to escort first by ourselves to get a little experience. So we did that on March 10th, 2021. Our group successfully volunteered at the clinic for about 4 hours. And then here's a picture of us escorting below.
So then we created an online Zoom event to share information about the Red River Women's Clinic and what they do, while also recruiting and training other individuals to escort. We held our training on March 31st. And with one attendee, we were able to have them join us the next time we held an escort event.
Our goal is to also gain at least 40 followers and keep them throughout the semester by creating engaging content. Our goal is to post a minimum of 2 times a week and have at least 4 profile highlights that can inspire women through all directions of women's rights. And we will surpass that goal of 40 followers by gaining 95. And we also stuck to our goal and successfully created our 2 weekly posts in stories.
Some of the online reactions most were pretty positive. We didn't really have to deal with very many trolls, and when we did, it was short-lived and they were cut off. On Instagram, we had one person who objected to our post, but again, we kept our interactions minimal.
So some escorting positive reactions that we saw were the reactions and feedback that we received while volunteering were far more positive than negative. People were honking and giving thumbs up and big smiles to the escorts as they drove by or walked by. Some passerbyers were yelling at the protesters and then would thank us. And then a city worker may or may not have ruined their sidewalk chalk by dumping water on it.
That was really funny.
Mm-hmm.
So, our patient reactions, reading the facial expressions of those walking by or in the direction of the clinic was one of the hardest parts. You never knew if they were walking to one of the restaurants or walking to the clinic. You would first ask if they were going to the clinic, then we would ask if they would like to be escorted. Sometimes they said yes, and sometimes they said no. Either way, they all seemed to be appreciative of what we do.
Negative reactions towards us anyway were pretty few and far between. But they were usually more aggressive and intense when they did happen. Sometimes they would yell at us instead of the protesters. One got very angry and said that he was going to cut the doctor's head off. That was pretty pleasant. And then some of the protesters themselves are ruthless and just like incessant and would not leave you alone or those getting walking to the clinic. So things like following them all the way to their car or like hounding them every step of the way, almost until they're actually like in the doorway. Just like pretty intense people. And then many protesting regulars have now received nicknames from the escorting veterans, such as like the sidewalk Barbies. That was one of my favorite and the main one that I can remember. But they all have their names and they all have their stories that the veterans can tell you about them.
We created an Instagram account, and that was crucial to our project being such a success. Because we were able to interact with our followers and the people in the community and on campus, and it helped us collaborate and reach more people.
So what didn't work? Unfortunately, our Zoom escort training did not turn out very well. We only had one participant join us. Shout out to Evan. And we probably would have been able to recruit more people if we would have advertised it on our Instagram a little bit better, maybe as like a regular post instead of like a story post.
So our campus collaboration, as a group, we were able to collaborate with other groups on campus, such as BLM NDSU and BIPOC.NDSU. Sharing posts and stories helps everyone reach more people. So.
And then we all had a little reflection. This project turned out to be a lot more rewarding than I had anticipated, because I learned so much about abortions along with women's reproductive health as a whole. There's a lot of facts that I totally was just unaware of. And I loved seeing friends follow the account who I didn't think would, and then interacting with our posts. I've also gained a lot of confidence to speak up for the issues I care about, because even if there are people who disagree and will troll, I know that there's a dozen people behind me that would support me.
What I found most interesting was the amount of things that aren't common knowledge that we wouldn't have known without this project. Also, being part of the escorting team was eye-opening and rewarding, and I probably wouldn't have ever done it without the group. So, and the community really made me feel like I was doing something big and important.
So what I found most interesting about this project was just being able to help someone through a difficult situation. It may just seem like you're walking somebody to a door, but the thanks that we got from these women was very gratifying. You could just tell from their appearance, even if they didn't say it, that it was something very helpful. The hardest thing for me to hear was some of the terrible things the protesters were saying to these women, and not be able to do something in their defense. There was one protester that had this maniacal like laugh, and it was just sickening to hear, and I couldn't do anything besides I couldn't say anything, but I could be there with my presence. So I realized that my presence was enough to make some of these women feel at ease.
I was really surprised with all the issues we were facing within reproductive rights. It was interesting to me that a lot of what I learned isn't common knowledge, but really should be. I wish the things I had learned from the project was taught to me when I was learning about sex ed in like middle school, because a lot of what I learned was about abstinence and STDs or STIs or drugs. And none of this, I didn't learn anything besides that. And that was really just kind of dumb to me. But being with this group of people that all support the same cause was the most fun and influential thing that I've done all 4 years of being in college. So.
Oh, thanks for everyone who interacted with our posts or joined us escorting or shared our posts. It's made this semester and this project really fly by. So we appreciate you all very much.